We are arrogant. Every night we look up at the sky and we assume it belongs to us. We draw imaginary lines between distant stars and call them constellations. We give those stars the names of our gods, our heroes, our stories. And then we build rockets, towers of fire and steel, machines powerful enough to punch through the sky itself. Why? Because somewhere deep inside us, we believe we are the main characters of the universe. But space doesn't care about our ambition. It doesn't care about curiosity. It doesn't care about survival. Space isn't a playground. Space is an executioner. And in 1972, humanity decided to test just how far that executioner's reach could go. We built a machine, a masterpiece of aluminum, titanium, circuits, and human hope. Its name was Pioneer 10. Before launching it, we did something strange, something almost desperate. We attached a small golden plaque to its body, a message, a map showing exactly where Earth is located, just in case someone or something found it drifting in the dark. Then we launched it. We celebrated. We expected a triumph. But what we really did was send a metal ghost into a cosmic graveyard. At first, everything went perfectly. Pioneer 10 sailed past the orbit of Mars like a champion. Its instruments sent back clean, beautiful data. Scientists celebrated. The mission was working. Human engineering had conquered the void. Or so we thought. Because ahead of Pioneer was something we had only imagined from a distance, the asteroid belt. Most textbooks show it like a quiet ring of rocks drifting peacefully through space. That's a lie. In reality, it's chaos, a storm stretching over 100 million miles, billions of rocks, ice shards, fragments of broken worlds, all of them moving at terrifying speeds, thousands of miles per hour. Pioneer 10 had no eyes, no way to dodge, no way to see what was coming. One grain-sized rock hitting it at 40,000 miles per hour could have shattered the probe like glass. Every second inside that belt was a gamble, a blind flight through a cosmic firing squad. And somehow, against every terrifying probability, Pioneer survived. It emerged from the storm intact. But what waited ahead was far worse, because the probe was now heading straight toward the largest planet in our solar system, Jupiter. And Jupiter is not friendly. From Earth, Jupiter looks beautiful, a giant marble swirling with colored storms. But up close, Jupiter is a monster, a gravitational tyrant. And as Pioneer 10 approached it, the machine began to feel something no spacecraft had felt before: violence. Jupiter's magnetic field is colossal, so powerful that it traps enormous amounts of charged particles. These particles spin around the planet at insane speeds, creating a radiation environment so deadly it could kill a human instantly. When Pioneer entered this region, it was like flying into a storm made of invisible bullets. Radiation slammed into its circuits. Sensors began to spike wildly. The probe's electronic brain was under attack. Inside its metal shell, instruments started overheating. Signals sent back to Earth became erratic, unstable, almost panicked. For a moment, scientists thought the probe was about to die. Jupiter was tearing at its electronics, trying to rip its mind apart. But Pioneer kept moving, slowly, painfully. It survived the radiation storm. And for the first time in human history, a spacecraft had flown past Jupiter and lived. But surviving Jupiter came with a terrifying cost. Because once Pioneer left that giant planet behind, there was almost nothing left. Just darkness. Endless, silent darkness. Imagine driving down a highway at night. Your headlights stretch out into the darkness ahead. Now imagine those headlights slowly fading, getting dimmer, weaker, until they're barely visible. That's what happened to the sun. As Pioneer traveled deeper into the outer solar system, the sunlight began to die. The warm star that gives life to Earth slowly shrank into a distant spark. Eventually, it stopped looking like a star at all. Just another tiny point in an ocean of black. And with the fading light came the cold. -100 degrees Fahrenheit, -200, -300. Temperatures so brutal that metal itself begins to change. Metal becomes brittle, it cracks, it groans. Inside Pioneer, delicate mechanical parts began freezing. Motors stiffened, components slowed. The entire machine was slowly turning into ice. But one thing kept it alive: a small nuclear heart. Deep inside the probe was a chunk of plutonium-238. As it decayed, it released heat. Not much, but enough. In the middle of a universe-sized winter, that tiny nuclear glow was like a campfire, and Pioneer huddled around it, trying to stay alive. But even nuclear fires don't burn forever. Year after year, the plutonium decayed, and the campfire began to fade. By the late 1990s, Pioneer 10 was running out of warmth, running out of power, running out of life. NASA engineers faced an impossible decision. To keep the probe alive, they had to start sacrificing parts of it. One by one, the instruments were shut down. First, the cameras. Pioneer 10 was now blind. Then the cosmic ray detectors. Then the plasma analyzers. Piece by piece, the machine lost its senses. Blind, deaf, numb. All to keep one thing alive: its radio transmitter. Because as long as that transmitter worked, Pioneer could still whisper back to Earth, even if that whisper had to cross billions of miles of empty space. But every year, the voice got weaker and weaker. Pioneer 10 wasn't just drifting anymore. It was starving, freezing, dying slowly in the coldest place imaginable. January 23rd. By this point, Pioneer 10 was 7.6 billion miles away from Earth. That distance is hard to imagine. Even light, the fastest thing in the universe, needed 11 hours to travel from the probe back to us. And when the signal arrived, it was barely there. A fraction of a billionth of a watt, a whisper in the cosmic wind, a mechanical equivalent of a dying gasp. After that day, we waited. Radio telescopes pointed into the dark, listening, hoping, begging for one more signal, one more faint ping. But the cosmos gave us nothing, only silence, cold, endless silence. The plutonium cooled, the power faded, the transmitter died, and somewhere out there in the darkness, Pioneer 10 finally froze solid. The machine was dead. But death in space isn't really the end.
it's the beginning of something far stranger. Because even now, Pioneer 10 is still moving, still traveling through the darkness at 26,000 miles per hour. It will never rust. There is no air, no wind, no rain, nothing to erase it. The probe will outlive every person alive today. It will outlive cities, civilizations, even the pyramids. And one day, billions of years from now, when the sun expands into a red giant and swallows the Earth itself, Pioneer 10 will still be out there, silent, frozen, drifting through the void. Its path leads toward a distant red star called Aldebaran.